add to that. During his tenure at, with this organization, his predecessor, and I believe so I've been here for 15 years. Jonathan came in right after that, with all of economic development incentives and investments that we've utilized with LBA 40 or TIF. We've been able to, I believe, create or retain almost 1,000 jobs, and we've, I think total investment is pushing $350 million. And so that's, and I just want to mention that because, you know, Jonathan and his organization are sort of on the front lines of all that activity in some way or another. You know, you're in those conversations, oftentimes helping the public and others to understand what incentives there are, what investment opportunities exist, which funds and programs they could possibly utilize. And so having him out there being able to do that does take a lot of pressure off of City Hall, even though Greg obviously and his team are very involved on the back end as well. And so with that, I just say, you know, thanks for all that you've done and your organization does to promote not only the city of Seward, but Seward County. So with that, we have membership agreement is item 6 specifically, and then the funding agreement would be item 7. So as far as item 6 is concerned, any questions or comments from the council, or entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion and a second for approval. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display your votes.
Voting in favor, Francis Cow, Kaler, Tanya, Colterman, Singleton, Strice, and Morgan, 7-0.
And on item 7, if you want to add anything? That's the finance, that's the membership, the membership agreement was 6, the funding agreement is 7. Any questions or comments from the council, or entertain a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second for approval. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Francis Cow, Kaler, Tanya, Colterman, Singleton, Strice, and Morgan, 7-0.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, council.
Item 8, consideration of a memorandum of understanding, MOU, between the city of Seward and Dairy Processing LLC regarding Seward Rail Campus site readiness. Greg?
This one's kind of on me. Still not ready for primetime players yet. We have a big meeting tomorrow morning between Mike, Brandon, myself, and Jared. Me and Kelly met on this one today. We just need to finish up some title items that are languishing. So we would recommend tabling this until the 7th, October 7th. We'll get this thing resolved and cleared out. A big one that happened last week that Mike and Brandon were working on was we were waiting on the last rate study with all the new updated stuff that came with the wastewater treatment plant. We got that late last week, correct, gentlemen? And so we're going to process through the last of that. We just have not had time with budget, NPPD contract, the storm, everything else, all the normal excuses. And Jonathan's been there just literally kicking me in the tushy, like, come on, let's get this, we gotta get this done. That's part of our Monday meetings. And so, again, this ultimately lies at my feet, but we just haven't been able to finish this one off. Not delaying particularly much that's going on out there. Obviously, you can see they're doing their work and getting things going and working with our utility partners and stuff. But we just need to feel comfortable that everything that we're putting forward works for dairy and works for the city. And so we'll finalize a lot of this tomorrow at our big meeting and then get it out the door. But just not able to get it across the finish line yet.
So without objection, we'll table that for this evening?
Good.
Alright. Item 9, acknowledge receipt of Airport Authority resolution requesting levy authority for the 2025-2026 fiscal year.
The levy, as requested by the Airport Authority, is the same as last year, as noted in our budget discussions in our prior hearing.
Any questions or comments from the council, or entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second for approval or acknowledgement of receipt, I should say. Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Francis Cow, Kaler, Tanya, Colterman, Singleton, Strice, and Morgan, 7-0.
Alright, item 10, fiscal year 2026 adoption.
This is the magical moment I noted to you earlier that we've gotten ourselves to. So as we noted, the process was, if we would have been part of the pink postcard hearing, we would have went to that next Monday, and then we would have had a special meeting on the 23rd to adopt the budget. As I noted before, the only change we've made in the budget was the movement of the VERA cut and the lowering of the levy. Other than that, I've received no other feedback to make any changes in regards to the budget. Mayor, department heads, and everybody else, except for the things we had to hold up on. Always can ask for more, but we wanted to bring in as much of a budget neutral, no deficit general fund budget as we could. So we've gone over everything. If you're comfortable and don't want to get together again next week, and you're okay with the budget as proposed by administration and the mayor, we can move forward on that tonight. We would approve these 4 items and move ahead and send that off to the state. If not, we can take this up again next Tuesday as a special meeting. That'd be the first conversation.
Any questions or comments from the council?
I think it makes sense to move forward.
Thank you for your
Ready to
efforts.
approve it.
Move
I'd
to
agree.
approve.
Well, then I'm gonna finish this with then, as we move through these votes. We do have Sydney Golden, our finance director, sitting quietly through the last 2 hours plus. She has heralded and stewarded this budget really, really well in light of, we've changed all our accounting numbers, all our budget numbers, a lot of the fiscal stuff with our conversion to Cassell. And so having to juggle that alongside of building out a budget. We started with one process we thought would work for us, and we had to bail on it halfway through this summer to kind of go back to the old manual Excel entry system. And she handled that really well, but she's done a good job communicating with department heads. I can't, say enough about how much I enjoy working with her and going through this process. It's a lot of background work. She doesn't get up and do the whole presentation because she thinks I like to hear the sound of my own voice for 2 hours on a Tuesday night. But all that background work, Excel master, just really, really doing some great work. And again, sitting through these meetings to ensure that if there was a question that you needed to answer or something we need to go back and tackle, she'd be here to do that. So Sydney, thank you so much for all your work and efforts on the budget this year.
So with that, we'll just work our way through item number 10. First, item 10A is approval of an additional 1% increase in restricted funds. Anything to add to that?
Nope, this is just a standard one that we do every time. I think this actually may fade away after this year with the new levy processes and that was involved in those legislative
Maybe
changes
you
we
might
talked
get rid
about.
of the pink postcard?
Well, no, I'm just noting the 1% is not needed because our percentages now are kind of being dictated by the state.
Right,
What your limits are versus these percentages that,
right.
but we're, again, it's a little bit of the Wild West. I know me and the mayor are going to the league meeting next week. And there's gonna be a whole giant thing on presentation of all the changes in the budgets, so. But this is one of the first ones. This allows additional authority, that we've done pretty much every time we've ever adopted a budget.
So on item,
Move to approve.
Second.
the motion and second for approval on item 10A. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your vote. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Francis Gao, Kaler, Tines, Coulterman, Singleton, Strice, and Morgan, 7-0.
Item 10B, approval of the municipal budget for the city of Seward for fiscal year 2026 and authorize the filing of budget forms.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Francis Gao, Kaler, Tines, Coulterman, Singleton, Strice, and Morgan, 7-0.
Okay, item 10C, consideration of a resolution setting the 2025-2026 property tax request for the city of Seward.
I'll introduce the resolution.
The resolution has been introduced and is designated as resolution number 2025-31. Would anyone like to move that this resolution be passed and adopted?
I so move.
Second.
A motion and a second. Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Francis Gao, Kaler, Tines, Coulterman, Singleton, Strice, and Morgan, 7-0.
Okay, item 10D, consideration of an ordinance for the adoption of the municipal budget to appropriate sums of necessary expenses and liabilities to provide for an effective date and include an additional 1% in restricted funds.
I'll introduce the ordinance.
The ordinance. An ordinance to adopt the budget statements to be termed the budget and annual appropriation bill to appropriate sums for necessary expenses and liabilities which includes an additional 1% increase in restricted funds to provide for an effective date to provide for publication of this ordinance in pamphlet form. The ordinance has been read by title and is designated as ordinance number 2025-25, and the title is hereby approved. I need a motion to dispense with statutory rule.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none. Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Francis Cow, Kaler, Tanya, Coulterman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan, 7-0.
This is ordinance number 2025-25. Would anyone like to move that this ordinance be passed and adopted as read?
I so move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question is, shall ordinance number 2025-25 be finally passed and adopted? Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Francis Cow, Kaler, Tanya, Coulterman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan, 7-0.
This is the last ordinance for this evening, so I need one final motion to make all the ordinances a part of the permanent record.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Francis Cow, Kaler, Tanya, Coulterman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan, 7-0.
Alright, thank you. Next we have the city administrator's report.
Administrator report is included in there. Again, the vast majority of what we've been doing is budget, probably staring up at the stars on the water tower, going out there and
Nice.
being art critics, but trying to finalize some of the things associated with that. We have some projects closing out. Derek's done a great job on working up the NEMA and FEMA documentation for not only the blizzard in March, but also the windstorm in August, follow up on that. And so just continuing to move all these items forward to start clearing things off the desk after the effects of the storm, and finishing up the budget process and the NPPD contract process, which we're not done with yet. And then, yeah, so that's what we have going on. I already mentioned, I'll just reciprocate. We're gonna move quickly on the recycling center over the next 30 days with our notification of that employee leaving employment at the city, so that we can get that lined up and start moving that one as well. So you'll see a lot of stuff on recycling, kind of moving forward. There you go.
Any questions or comments for Greg? Entertain a motion to
Move to
accept.
accept.
The report. The motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Francis Cow, Kaler, Tanya, Coulterman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan, 7-0.
Alright, thank you. Any future requests for council agenda items or administrative action? Seeing none, Jonathan, welcome back. Upcoming event.
Thank you. Okay, briefly, we emailed our quarterly report to you all recently. Let us know if you have any questions about projects we've been working on over the last approximately 3 months. A few upcoming events. So our ribbon cutting's tomorrow. Because of inclement weather, we only have one ribbon cutting, which will be the only indoor one. The other two are going to be outside. And so we'll be indoors, 3 o'clock, with Chartwells as a new member of the chamber. So we're excited to celebrate with them. They will have delicious treats. So we welcome you to join us. The Nebraska Tech Builders Challenge, that's our 24-hour hackathon in partnership with Concordia, taking place upcoming here on Friday, Saturday. So we'll have a number of people from out of the community coming in for that. We're hosting our downtown Seward Progressive Dinner on Thursday, September 25th. 5 different drinking establishments a part of that. We welcome you to join us. Tickets available online on our website and through our office. And then the next day, and a part of the Progressive Dinner, we're hosting the Connecting Young Nebraskans Summit. So we're looking forward to bringing young professionals from all over the state to join us for an all-day summit conference that will be at the newly renovated Seward Civic Center. So we're excited to show it off. And then lastly, we have an upcoming professional development luncheon Thursday, October 9th. We're going to be talking about the important but difficult topic of domestic violence in Seward County. We're acknowledging from a mental health perspective, that's a really important topic for us, locally speaking. So with that, that's all I have. Thanks, Mayor.
Thanks, Jonathan.
I have one more. It's the shade dedication.
Your shade dedication coming
Oh,
up?
yes. Go ahead.
The shade dedication will be held at the band shell on Sunday, September 21st, this Sunday at 6:30 p.m.
Yes, thank you.
I got voluntold I am cutting the cake, so that's how I know about that.
All untold.
Alright, thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A motion and a second. Please register your vote. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Francis Cowcator, Tanya Coulterman, Singleton, Strice, and Morgan, 7-0.
Thank you all and have a great night.
Yeah.